want to make more money. So they're getting together to say, hey, how can we make some more money? So one of the members, Conrad Black, he's a Canadian news mogul. He owns all the major news media in Canada. He was quoted saying, "Providentially, the world became more accessible for me as Canada became less commodious." And then he said in his biography, Life in Progress, it was from the Bilderberg that our company's eventual vocation as an international newspaper organization arose. So you could clearly say once he got involved with this group that his money and his expansion on Canadian news media and money grew exponentially. Now, the Bilderberg group, sad to say, is not the only group. Many of these people are with, they're members of these two other groups, the Trilateral Commission and the Council of Foreign Relations. Both of these non-government entities, both founded or helped co-found by David Rockefeller. And David Rockefeller came up with the Trilateral Commission after he was already part of the Bilderberg group. It was in the mid-1970s when he read this book called Between Two Ages, written by an establishment scholar, which establishment being big business, very rich people, royalty, the upper crust of society. And this book was about, it was basically about, he wrote it basically for elite to try to come up with an idea of how, basically of like some kind of conquest of the world. And he said his idea was to form the North American Union with also Japan, because Japan's been very cooperative with trade and our banking systems. So the Trilateral Commission being the North American Union and Japan and Europe. And funny thing is, okay, another member can be quoted. They were asked, what is it that they claim they do at these meetings? And he says, "I don't think we are a global ruling class, because I don't think a global ruling class exists. I simply think it is people who have influence. It is people who have influence interested to speak to other people who have influence." So basically saying the upper crust of society gets together to talk about whatever, and they're not talking about the NFL or what's going on with Paris Hilton. So Obama and Bill Clinton, they're both members of this group. Bill Clinton has been a member ever since a year before he was elected. The year before he was elected, he became a member, spoke at their meeting, then he was elected president. Obama went to their meeting this July after he accepted the Democratic nomination, and he is now president. So what would be the agenda of these guys? Like I said, New World Order. They want their money to rule these countries, and basically, I imagine it would eventually be to take over the world. But the first step in this is the North American Union, where they're going to take the monetary system of Canada, the US, and Mexico and combine it into the Amero. Now this is going to basically take away our country's sovereignty, because our country is based upon our own currency and us being self-sustained. Now this is already being manipulated by NAFTA, if anyone's ever heard of it. And I don't know about out here, but back home, a lot of labor workers from where I'm from, like car manufacturers that have gone out of business. And all these guys hated NAFTA because it basically took away non-tariff barriers for these huge corporations. Now a non-tariff barrier is basically a tax imposed for other reasons, like regulations, such as like import bans, rules of origin, like you have to say where all these products came from that you put into your product, sanitary conditions, packaging conditions, labeling conditions, product standards, regulatory environment. So they took away all this stuff, and we wonder why all these vegetables, all this food gets tainted, because we took away all these regulations that would take money out of their pockets and keep it in ours, or actually hold them accountable for putting out food that's going to kill you, or toys that your children are going to play with that have lead in them. because we have no standards. So NAFTA is the first step. The second step is they're building a major freeway from Texas all the way to Canada, connecting Mexico to Canada and making travel much easier within the states. And then the next steps that have been discovered by some people that they're trying to do is control the people with a national standing army. Now you think, well, we have an army, but they don't patrol us. And I did not look up the term, but there's a term where it says you are not allowed, a law in our Constitution that says you cannot use our own standing army upon citizens. Well, they're going to implement this new standing army to now basically start patrolling. FEMA has started setting up like camps in basically every different region of the country, southern region, a couple on the East Coast, a couple in the Southwest, California. And why would you be building these FEMA camps? I guess they say, you know, if something happens like in New Orleans, that, oh, we'll have somewhere for these people to stay. But when you call something a camp, there's only one thing that can come to memory. And that's, you know, Adolf Hitler and what he was doing. The next thing is they're going to start taxing the crap out of us because of the environment. The environment, like, we're all very concerned, and, you know, as we should be, as science has shown, global warming. So they're going to start taxing everything: a plastic bottle of pop, plastic bottle of detergent, and like gas, you know, is going to go skyrocketing. They're also going to take away our right to bear arms. And this, before I came out west, I was very against, you know, guns. I was like, people don't need them. But being out here and seeing the way that people treat guns and how much they feel it's their right to own them, I see why. Because when things get out of control, you either become complacent or you need to do something. And our founding fathers were some of the smartest people of their time. They were able to look way beyond what they had set up. And I have a few quotes at the end of my speech to help you get an idea of where these guys are coming from, like our founding fathers. And one of the things, so you say, well, this sounds really crazy. Well, let's look at Obama. What are his promises for his campaign? And this is what you guys should do to base whether you would ever think this is believable or not. If Obama can't deliver on any of his promises, which he has already broke many of his promises. Iraq, what was one of his promises? I'm in office, they're out. Well, now it's 23 months before he's going to start withdrawing some troops. He's now sending 30,000 troops to Afghanistan. This is not what he was talking about during his campaign. He's moved missiles closer to what we know as the old Soviet Union. So they're closing in on any country that would oppose us, which is Soviet Union, China, like North Korea area, those people. So they want to move their missiles closer to these guys so they can't interfere with the plans that they have going on. The Patriot Act and FISA, Obama has voted to reinstate both of those and keep them going. So illegal wiretaps, kidnapping terrorist suspects for no reason, holding them with no charges, this is still going on. He's promised to look at closing Guantanamo Bay within, he'll look at it over the next year and maybe in a year close it. This is not sounding at all like he is helping, or he is delivering on his promises. And then he's also still going forward with NAFTA. All these working class people that he guaranteed that he would put an end to this, he is now saying, well, now we have to look at it, this is good for our economy, we can't stop, you know, have money come in now, and, you know,